Welcome to Zambian, the channel on which we engage in dialogue with leaders from across sectors and generations. Greetings and welcome to Zambian. My name is Martin Kalungubanda, your host on this channel. Today, I am extremely delighted to have the opportunity to talk to the president of the new Heritage Party. Her name is Ms. Chishala Kateka. Heritage Party is the political party that was formerly led by Brigadier General Godfrey Mwamba, who has since retired from politics. Ms. Kateka has spent a lot of her time in the corporate world. She has held a number of leadership positions there, among which are included being chair of the board of the Zambia Competitions Commission. She was also chair of the board for Barclays Bank Zambia PLC, which now is Absa Bank Zambia PLC. Ms. Kateka retired from these corporate roles to take up the leadership of the new Heritage Party. Ms. Kateka, welcome to Zambian.
Thank you very much. I'm so delighted to be on this program.
I would like to begin by asking you to share, maybe describe the object that best explains the journey you have walked and what has shaped you into the leader you are today.
Yeah, a very tough question because, you know, one has to use an imagination. But I think for me, what comes to mind is a piece of land. Okay, because of the varied experiences coming to bear upon my life. Spring, when sometimes life is mellow, you know, and easy. Summer with its heat. Sometimes I've had a lot of heat coming upon my life. Winter with its cold. The rainy seasons, lots of blessing falling upon me. The ups and downs, the mountain tops, the valleys. The mountain tops, of course, being when I have felt that I think that I have achieved something, you know, and you just feel on top of the world, and the valleys when life has not been too great. I think I've been through, you know, a piece of land can have so many uses, so many different varied uses. Sometimes it's used for accommodation, sometimes it's used for agriculture. You know, the same piece of land, same underlying person, but with many, many experiences. That's what comes to my mind when I look at myself.
Piece of land and the many seasons.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. And what would you say have been the 2 to 3 most formative experiences in your life?
Okay. By far, the most impactful experience I've ever had is my conversion to Christianity. I was about 33 years, like 100 years ago. 33 years when I converted to Christianity, and from that I took it quite seriously. I read a lot, I study a lot, and I decided that I didn't want anyone to lie to me. So I read the Bible through a number of times so that I would have an appreciation of what it was about. My worldview has been largely impacted by that. So a lot of decisions that I have made, including what I am doing now, has been informed by my position in that. And another experience that I have is I watched a documentary on community transformations, which gave me a lot of hope that there's hope for Zambia, that it's actually possible for us to move from where we are to where we could be and where we should be. You are not talking about transforming just a little piece of land. You are talking about transforming a whole nation. So watching that movie made quite an impact on me, and the fact that we can have a better life for Zambians. And the third thing is I worked, like I said, I've done a lot of things. I was interim manager at Kafue Textiles in 2000, in the year 2000, and it was in administration at the time, but that was the largest integrated textile company in sub-Saharan Africa. And these people who were working there, I saw how firsthand the sufferings of people that have no idea literally where the next meal is going to come from. And again, that informed me because I saw the way our government responded to that. And that informed me that, you really need to have the right people in the right positions, making the right decisions for people to move forward. So those three are some of the things that have impacted me.
Thank you. So in a way, even if you have spent much of your time in the corporate world, somehow your sense of community, feeling with where the people are, is part of your makeup.
Yes. Yes, I have. I don't know, part of my makeup, I just feel an affinity with people. I've had a fairly privileged background, I think, in terms of my family life, etc., in terms of my career, what I have done, what I have achieved. However, I think that you don't really arrive if the people around you have not arrived. You need to at least narrow the gap. You might not get them to the stage where you are, but you can play a part. I think that people of my age, maybe 10 years, give or plus 10 years, we have a lot to give back to Zambia because of the educational system we went through, the exposures we've had. So we can give quite a lot back.
Could you just elaborate more? Why that age group should feel more indebted to Zambia?
Well, we went to school in the years when we got our educational system was free. I know many people are promising free education, and that's really, it's like it's more difficult now. But anyway, rightly or wrongly, when I first started going to school, we had fee-paying schools and non-fee-paying schools, fee-paying hospitals and non-fee-paying hospitals. And we were able to benefit from an education system which was far superior to what we have now, and fairly cheaply. I went through university and I didn't have to pay. Now, what that means is that we benefited from that educational system that the young adults of these days don't have that benefit. And I think we can give back to the community.
Ms. Kateka, what got us here as a nation?
I know that the expected answer is leadership, but I that we have a wrong leadership. But I would like to say that it actually goes deeper than that. I believe that what got us here is a lack of understanding of the times that we are in, therefore, what our response ought to be with regards to the issues that are facing us. Simply dealing with the manifestations of the problems is like dealing with, when you have a headache, you take an aspirin and you feel better. 2 days later, the headache comes back. So what you are doing is dealing with the manifestation, but not dealing with the cause. So it's very important to understand what is causing that headache in the first place. So this lack of understanding is held both by those in leadership and also by us, the citizens. See, you notice I'm not putting myself as a politician, but as one of the citizens. Now, a nation, like an individual, goes through stages or phases of life. And if you can understand that, you know that when a nation is at a certain stage, the solution for whatever issues they are facing are different from another stage. So it's important to understand that growth progression of a nation and respond appropriately. So I give an example. When this happened across Africa, we were in colonial times, and being oppressed in our own land by colonizers. So at that stage, what was required is political. So I'm talking about political colonization. What was required was political independence. Now, there was also a time in Zambia when we went through what was called a one-party participatory democracy. You always want to bite yourself. In other words, we were in a one-party state. So what was required, the response that was required then was different. The response to the two stages of our progression as a country are different. So one necessitated an independence response, while the other necessitated a democracy response. You must understand the dispensation that you are in and have a leadership that have that understanding as well. If you do not, you begin to apply wrong and inapplicable policies and solutions to the times, and you will fail to resolve the real issues. The two parties that we had, UNIP and MMD, were what I call redeeming parties, political parties. They took us from one political dispensation to another political dispensation. And they gave themselves a name appropriate to that dispensation. So UNIP was an independence party. MMD was a democracy bringing party. So they clearly tell you what they are coming to do. At the moment, I'm afraid we are just going round and round because we don't know where we are going.
I am following your line of thought that we must read the times we are in for us to respond appropriately.
Yes.
Let me just follow up with a question. What are the deeper issues, Ms. Kateka, that we need to address going forward?
The first one is what I've talked about, is we need to understand what the Zambians need now, akin to political independence. We got independence, akin to democracy. There's something that we now need to address that should get us into the right space. The second one is having a skilled and appropriate leadership, appropriately schooled, if you like, experienced, a leadership of integrity, selfless, and a leadership that is coming to serve the people, to do what we are talking about. So our manifesto speaks into our belief system as New Heritage Party. Zambians now need to partake of their heritage. Zambia is our heritage. When God created Zambia, he put wealth in this country. Masses of wealth. There are many countries that have less than us but are doing well. But in Zambia, God blessed us with so much wealth, land, minerals, water, even the weather is fantastic. Even the people are fantastic, everything, you know, but we have failed to convert. You know, it's like when you are in the D zone, you are playing soccer and you are given a penalty and you fail to convert. That's the way Zambia is. If you go to Chifunkana's area, on top of the land, there are some of the poorest people in Zambia. And beneath, just maybe less than a kilometer down, is some of the greatest wealth in the world. So when they take that wealth, they get the emeralds and they sell them. They don't give anything to these people sitting on top. That, you know, just to show you the level of injustice that we are talking about. When they sell Mukula tree, the owners of the Mukula tree don't get anything. So Zambians are divorced from their wealth. And at New Heritage Party, we are saying the time has come to marry the Zambians and their wealth. It's what we are calling the third leg of independence. The only people who can develop this nation are the Zambians. So as long as you leave them out of this economic pot, then we are doing ourselves a disservice. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kateka, we'll take a short break. And when we return, I will ask you what your ambition is.
Okay.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for a place to work from? Do you want to develop your leadership skills? Do you have an idea or business you'd want to scale? Are you looking for a place to host training and learning events? If you answered yes to any of the questions, then Impactable Saka is the place for you. It is a social innovation hub that is part of Impactable global network that supports various entrepreneurs and social innovators. Our services, among others, include co-working space, event hosting, incubation and acceleration programs, capacity building in leadership and business.
Welcome back. Our guest today is the president of the New Heritage Party, Ms. Chishala Kateka. Ms. Kateka, what is your ambition, your highest aspiration for our country? And may I just add another expression of the same question? Why should people in Zambia vote for you?
Okay. Thanks for that question. I think it's very, very important. I would like to marry it to the heritage message, the one that I just shared about where we are as a nation. We are not just a party that is coming to politics, you know, like, we would also want to be. No, we've actually identified what needs to be done. And accordingly, we have prepared a manifesto that speaks to that message. Our ambition is to become the premier Zambian-led economic and productivity hub in sub-Saharan Africa. With the crafting of this vision, we are inviting people that have the capacity to make this happen. So to become part of the winning team, it's not a case of saying, oh, okay, you were very loyal as a party member, so we are going to make you economic advisor, even if you can't do that work. We are not interested in rhetoric. We are very interested in achieving what we are setting ourselves to achieve. We have missed far too many opportunities in this country to continue along that path. And it is an indictment upon us as a nation that we are still entertaining the levels of poverty that we have. that the levels of what I'm calling unproductivity by Zambians is so high. That is a polite way of saying unemployment levels are at an unacceptable level. It's that the economic balance of power is tilted away from the Zambians. And we are saying we must tilt the economic balance of power towards Zambia. It's a shame that we entertain a mediocre leadership that is clearly ill-equipped for the job when we have so many able people, Zambians that are educated, they are willing, but because of the political landscape, which is so hostile, people stay away. And we keep away people that should be in that space.
Ms. Kateka, my next question is around our relationship with power.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the observation I have made is that the way we relate power remains one of the crucial challenges in the practice of our democracy.
Mm-hmm.
I have had the fortune of working for a number of heads of state across Africa, and the story seems to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
People are looking for one gifted, one talented person who is going to solve all the challenges that they face.
Yeah.
Hero worshipping becomes the end result.
Yes.
How are you going to address this if you ascend to the presidency of the Republic of Zambia? And how do you currently relate to your fellow leaders within the new Heritage Party?
Yes. So I think that is a very cardinal point. I like to call it the Mkulumpe syndrome or chief syndrome. So in Africa, due to our culture, we look up to elders and those in authority, and they are not questioned. Okay, we don't question those in authority or those who are older than us, and we don't correct them, nor do we disagree with them, because it is deemed insubordinate to do so. Okay, so it creates, it's a very difficult thing for an African, a younger African person to confront an older African person, or even somebody who is higher in authority. So between 2002 and 2006, I took a sabbatical from work, 4 years, in order to do something that was really close to my heart, and that was to deal with young adults. I started an NGO called Youth with a Vision for Zambia, whereby we were speaking to, I actually don't like calling them youth. We call at the New Heritage Party, we call them young adults, in order to help them find themselves. You know, a lot of young people are lost. And to help them to become who they were meant to become in life. Our program was mostly focused on mindset change, because if we want to change the status quo, we have to do things different. We do things in a certain way. So in Zambia, we identified about 23 mindsets that are common to Zambians, which cause us to fail. You know, we do certain things and they cause us to fail because we think in a certain way. One of the mindsets that we identified is that very one, and we called it the leader and led syndrome. As soon as a person has been appointed into a position and have a title, they think that changes who they are and the way they think. And it's just not true. The title is not what changes you. What changes you is yourself and your progression and what you allow to impact you, and your worldview. That's what changes you, not because suddenly you acquire a title. And because we think that these people we have voted into power have so much wisdom and they will resolve everything, is what lands us into problems. So at the New Heritage Party, we keep telling ourselves and everybody who care to listen, we don't believe in the savior syndrome. No one person has got a monopoly of wisdom, and wisdom resides in each one of us. You know certain things that I don't know. There are certain things that I know that you know. And the person at the top is simply the first among equals. So we are all part of a team. And my role, and I keep telling everybody, I believe that as president, my role largely comprises of, visioning, sharing the vision. And once everybody buys into our vision, they actually own that vision. And once they own it, they have as much right to input into it as I do. And sometimes I might even make a wrong call. At the New Heritage, we encourage each other to challenge one another so that we can bring out the best. So my role is to find the right people to occupy the right positions. I'm very, so whenever I've had an interview, the interviewer normally asks me, "Oh, what's the first thing you're going to do when you come into office? That's going to change." And my answer is very simple, and it does not change. The answer is that I need to put the right people into the right positions, because no matter how good your vision is, no matter how good your plan is, if you don't have the right people, you're not going to go anywhere.
Asking you to imagine that you have won the presidential elections this August, and somehow just before you are sworn in as our head of state, you get the chance to look at yourself as if you were looking at another person.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most valuable piece of advice you would give to that person who is just about to be sworn in as head of state?
Wow. Okay, so the imagination part is the easier part, because you have to project yourself forward and decide what you will do when you are in there. So my advice to President-elect Chishala Kateka is that pride has seen the downfall of many a king and many a person. Pride. And everyone that went into a position of leadership or into State House did so with good intentions. I'm sure they went in there and say, yes, now I'm going to make a difference. And, they had those good intentions ab initio right from the beginning. Now, something happened in there, and whatever happened to them could also happen to me, or to this person, to you. I'll be speaking to Chishala as you. So pride may enter your heart just as it did them. So 3 things. Number 1 is, do not surround yourself with bootlickers. Number 2, do not surround yourself with yes sir people. You need people that will provide checks and balances to you as a person. Yes sir people will never tell you the truth, and thus you will find that you make decisions based on incomplete information. They just say yes to everything. And number 3, do not surround yourself with incompetent people, even if they mean well. If these people are friends or relatives, avoid them. So instead, stay true to what you have set yourselves to achieve for Zambia. Number 2, check out information given to you. Don't just believe everything that you are told. Some of this information may in fact be falsehoods, because people lie, and misinformation. Do not take everything you are told as gospel truth. You know, if somebody comes and says, oh, so and so is supporting the other party or something, check it out. You know, you've got a lot of things, so you need to rely on that. And then I think most importantly is, don't lose touch with reality, the common people on the streets. Don't lose that connection. Do not isolate yourself from them. Every so often, go out and become one of them. You came out from amongst them for you to represent them, and to them you shall return. So, yeah. And then finally, constantly remember that you are only there for a limited time to fulfill your promises to the Zambian people. Therefore, do not allow that pride to creep in. Work hard, work fast, because 5 years or 10 years doesn't take that long. It doesn't take as yeah. And also, don't forget why you are actually seeking. You were seeking to become the president. Stay true to that. Yeah.
Ms. Kateka, thank you very much for finding the time to dialogue with me on Zambian. I wish you the best of blessings on your journey and your new Heritage Party.
Thank you very much.
Having listened to the dialogue and followed my conversation with our guest, I now invite you to look at the drawing that emerged out of that dialogue. Take time to see the contours, the colors, the images that are reflected on the painting, on the drawing. And pay attention to what the drawing evokes in you. What are the feelings? What are the thoughts that are ignited by you looking at the painting? What thoughts does the painting generate in you with regard to your own leadership? What thoughts, feelings, and images does this painting evoke in you with regard to the future of our country? What else does this painting make you think and feel? Kindly share your reflections on this channel so that we can continue the dialogue on the future of the country we all love, on the future of our nation. Thank you.